You'd separate the civilian populations from the combatants that they might support, whether you separate them willingly or you separate them under their duress, right? And that's the way people had waged war. I think about the destruction of Boer farms, relocation of their inhabitants into concentration camps. One of the most familiar examples. There are similar movements of civilians during the Spanish-American War in Cuba and in the Philippines during the American intervention. Similar approaches were taken by the Japanese in Manchuria, by Portugal in Angola, and by Britain in Malaya and Kenya. So the aim is to separate guerrillas from any support from the population. South Vietnam, President Diem started moving rural communities to constructed communities from 1959 to separate the peasants from the revolutionaries, right? This was turned under the Americans into the strategic hamlet program, right? You got thousands of fortified hamlets. The aim is to concentrate and shelter the population in hamlets, relocating villages when necessary to produce villagers who actively supported the South Vietnamese government and cutting off support for the communist guerrillas from North Vietnam. Now, various scholars will talk about this moving and resettling of populations in camps as a technique of liberal empire, right? It's a biopolitical attempt to govern, to domesticate, and to deny political agency to colonial populations. All right, so the whole intent of these laws is to limit political and military agency through both a legal and a spatial separation of civilians and combatants. So despite all these experiences with irregular warfare, the prevailing idea of war, the main theories, the war games, and the laws of war were all shaped by an ideal of orderly soldiers in uniform, of subdued citizens separated and demilitarized.